Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, and the VAWLS are looking to add the icing on the cake, the cherry on top of the sundae to the class of 22. They're looking at the top rated transfer in the transfer portal. Jared Verse, we'll take a look at as he nears his decision. We'll look at some of the factors, some of the quotes from him. Also want to look at some recruiting numbers in general. We'll get into it. As always, do me a favor. Go ahead and smash that like button just below the video. If you would so kindly press that thumbs up. If you tune in each and every video, you like the content here, it's free, it's cheap, it's quick. Just hit that thumbs up. It helps the channel. Also, if you're new here, welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We are fans just like you. So if you enjoy the content, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss out when we go live or when we drop new content. We got more videos coming your way throughout the week. Also, Dauber and the Indie Kid continue to cover the basketball program. They will be live immediately following the basketball game, so tune in for that as well. But let's go ahead and jump into this article from RockyTopInsider.com. Report top Tennessee transfer target nearing decision, written by Ryan Shumpert. Says Albany defensive line transfer and Tennessee target Jared Verse is nearing his decision, according to a report from 24/7 Sports' Chris Hummer. Verse tells Hummer that his recruitment is rapidly coming to a close and has the intention to make his decision in the next few days. Now, according to Austin Price, Tennessee right in the mix on this thing. Still feels good about Tennessee, but as of now, Verse has not told anybody where he's going. Sounds like that decision is going to be coming out sooner rather than later. The article here says the redshirt freshman ranks as the Athletics' top player currently in the transfer portal and 24/7 Sports' sixth best player in the portal. Now, that goes back to what we talk about when we talk about stargazers and we talk about rankings and this, that, and the other. Coming out in the 2019 class, Jared Verse was unranked. He was not even ranked in the class of 2019. So what does that mean? He has been able to go to Albany, show his body of work. Some of the film I've seen on this guy, the video I dropped when he first entered the portal, I encourage you to go back, watch that video, check out his highlights. There's one clip in particular. He runs down a Syracuse running back in the open field from behind. This is a guy with speed. This is a guy with SEC level ability. But for whatever reason, coming out of high school, class of 2019, unranked, now 24/7 Sports has him as the number 6 overall transfer in the portal. And then, as the article said there, the Athletics have him as the top player currently in the portal. Now, it goes on to say here, accordingly, Verse is one of the most sought-after players in the portal, boasting offers from Miami, Auburn, Missouri, Syracuse, Florida State, Nebraska, Houston, West Virginia, Colorado, Kansas, Florida, LSU, Oklahoma, USC, Texas, and others. Tennessee is right in the thick of Verse's recruitment after getting the talented pass rusher on campus for a visit earlier this month. Again, Rodney Garner going to do what Rodney Garner does. I saw an article with Verse asked what he thought about Tennessee. The quote from him was, they just got out of the bowl game, fell a little bit short. Said he feels like a couple of calls didn't go their way. Well, thank you, Jared. Thank you for that. We agree with you. That's been the ongoing theme here on this channel for quite some time. It says, I feel like a couple of calls didn't go their way. They had an okay season, not what the coaches wanted, but it's something to build upon. They set a good vision of what they can use me for and how they would use me. Something to build upon. That's where this program is at. And we're going to get into the numbers game and how you build depth. What does it take in the recruiting game to get better? Because sometimes, we think, well, grab a player here, grab a player there in the transfer portal. Let's go to Atlanta. That's, something I dropped a video on late last week, was talking about expectations versus reality. One of the ongoing themes that we talk about with this program is their lack of depth. Well, how do you build depth? We'll get into that. We'll discuss it. But Jared Verse mentioned that word particularly in another quote. He says, going further into the process, no school is bringing me in for depth. He says, if you're bringing me in to be a third down pass rusher, I'm not really talking to you. The schools I'm talking to want me as a 4-down player. Important factors are the coaches and how they can help me grow as a player and how I can help the program. I want to play and compete for a national championship. Schools that can help me do that. Well, I know a certain coach that coaches your particular position, Coach Rodney Garner, that is known for developing talent and getting players to the league. The article goes on to say here, Verse also officially visited Houston, Florida State, Syracuse, and has reported interest in Miami. Really seems like it's coming down to maybe Miami, Florida State, and Tennessee. Says the 6'4", 247-pound defensive end recorded 52 tackles, 9.5 sacks, and 11.5 tackles for loss this past season at Albany. Tennessee's pass rush struggled this season, finishing 8th in the conference with 34 sacks, and the VAWLS defense was bad on third down. However, Tennessee returns its top 2 pass rushers in Byron Young and Tyler Barron from the 2021 season. Adding Verse would give Rodney Garner's defensive line another dynamic pass rusher entering 2022. And that's what I kind of want to shift gears and talk about here, is how do you build depth when it comes to recruiting? And the way you build depth is, as I try to go to Tennessee's 24/7 sports recruiting, and the website just so happens to be down, surprise, surprise. But how do you build depth when it comes to recruiting? When it comes to, it's a yearly grind. It's not just a one-time deal. You can't just go out here and have success in 1 year and think you're going to rebuild a program. And that's why when I look at this Tennessee recruiting class for the class of 22, obviously the offense is there. We've got the receivers. We've got Taven Jackson. We've got some speed at the running back position. You add Justin Williams, a guy that can be a big physical SEC-type running back. I am not concerned with this coaching staff and their ability to recruit on offense. Now, what concerns me is defense. You look at what Rodney Garner is doing, what he's recruiting, what he is adding. And like I said, if you go and you add Jared Verse, that is the icing on the cake for what Rodney Garner is building. He is truly adding depth when it comes to the defensive line. Adding Tyree West, 4-star defensive tackle. That was a huge add to the class of 22. You can look at a guy that he is still currently pursuing that has not signed yet. Will be signing in February, Ahmad Moten, another 4-star. When you look at Rivals, I think he's a 3-star over on 24/7 Sports. You've got Jordan Phillips, 3-star according to Rivals. He's one of the guys that showed up early, was able to participate in bowl practice. Rodney Garner is adding pieces in place on this defensive line. Joshua Josephs, another guy coming off of the edge. You've got pieces in place. You trust Rodney Garner's ability to not only evaluate talent, but develop talent. And you have to do it year in and year out. But if you miss, and that's my concern when you look at the linebacker position. And yes, Tennessee has a couple of linebackers, Caleb Perry, Elijah Herring, coming in this class. But they didn't land as many linebackers or guys in the secondary that I feel like leave you a lot of wiggle room, right? Because some guys coming out of high school hit, some guys miss. Again, you got to trust your talent evaluation and your talent development. But flip over to the offensive side of the ball and look at the offensive line. Because of the guys that they have missed on, because of the guys that have entered the transfer portal, you end up with a guy like Dane Davis, a former walk-on that is being thrown to the fire. A guy like Ollie Lane. No disrespect to those guys. They are not SEC level talent. You're trying to find a way to replace Cade Mays. Yes, you've added Gerald Mincy through the transfer portal. He may work out, but when you're looking for depth, you need more guys. And when you look at the offensive line coming in this year, you've got Addison Nichols, 4-star prospect, a guy that you're expecting a lot of. You hope you're able to develop, but you don't want to just throw Addison Nichols to the fire as a true freshman. You want to be able to develop him and bring him along. So again, when you look at the blueprint, when you look at how you build depth, Rodney Garner is doing it for this defensive line. He's doing it with guys like Jordan Phillips, guys like Tyree West, guys like James Pierce, a huge addition late in this class. You go out and you add this one last piece to the puzzle. If Jared Verse commits to Tennessee, Rodney Garner has his class. He has his talent. Now, Rodney Garner is going to go teach. He's going to go develop. He's going to go to work. And that's how you build depth and talent. You do it year in and year out. But I still have those concerns at the linebacker position and at the safety position. Like I said, I think the offense is going to take care of itself. I think we've seen that. I think that's been proven. Rodney Garner, Class of 22, not just class of 22, 30 years. 30 years body of work for Rodney Garner. I think it's going to work out. The question for me is moving forward. That's why this thing, Josh Heupel coming in, we called it a 3 to 4 to 5 year rebuild because it takes time to flip a roster. It's not just a come in, all right, now we're going to have success. Kudos to this coaching staff for doing what they did this season. And that's why I go back to the video I made earlier, reality versus expectation. I know that was a lot of information to unpack. Unfortunately, the 24/7 site went down right as I started to record the video, but so some of that's a little loose there. But leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think of depth and building depth and what Rodney Garner has been able to do with this defensive line? Also, the main title of the video, Jared Verse. What do you think? Think he's a Tennessee lean? Is he a guy that could come in and make an impact immediately on this defensive line? Got to be better. Got to get more pressure on the quarterback. But hit that comment section and let me know. If you have not done so yet, please smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. Also, check out the official merchandise of the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go to bonfire.com/store/TalkinVAWLS. But that's going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
The songs howl like me, poets sat in archade, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we draw home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.